Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. So how is everybody this evening? Just a second here. I got to get the comments up so I can see. So I'm still in my living room. I'm hoping to have my sewing room back in the next couple of weeks, hopefully. So it's always exciting. It'll be exciting to get back in there. Next week, we will have class in there because my scan and cut stuff is on the opposite side of the room, so it should be fine. So how is everybody this evening? People are coming in. So we're going to do a little embroidery tonight. We're going to work on the November Cutie, and this is the one with pumpkins. So we're going to be making pumpkins tonight. And we're going to play with the bow maker a little bit, make some bows for our pumpkins. And I got my top quilted, my table topper. Oh, the scan and cut class is going to be really fun. I'm looking forward to it. I am going to have to do some pre-cutting and assembly beforehand because I will warn you, the Advent calendar tree does take a little time to put together. There's a lot of pieces. So it does take quite a while to do, but so I'll do a little pre-assembly this weekend. So hello. So everybody's getting here good. So when I quilted this table topper, I quilted it with a different, I'll show it to you a little bit more. I quilted it with a different quilting design. This one is Autumn 2 that I got from Kimberbell. This one was Autumn. The other one was Autumn 1. So this one has pumpkins, little pumpkins on it. So I thought that was, fitting that it had pumpkins on it. It turned out real cute. I did it in kind of an off-white Pima cotton thread. So that's what I did that beforehand. So I will, on YouTube, I will also post the, for some of you that are new, I made one quilting video for all the table toppers, and I made a binding video. So I will post the links to those videos in the description so that you can get to those two things. I always post them on YouTube. So if you watch some of the videos on YouTube, I always put them in the description below the video. So there's a little space right below the video, and there'll be a description that'll start, and you might have to hit see more so you can see the whole thing. But I always put all the descriptions in underneath the video. So anything, or any links, I should say, any links of anything you need to get to. So there is the quilting link, and there will be the binding link in there, so you know what to how to get your topper quilted. And I did these with the clear blue tiles. That seems to work very well for these. They're nice little small things. They take about 6 hoopings, and it takes me about an hour now to do them. So oh yeah, it is kind of chill. It's chilly here too. It even feels chilly in the house tonight. I thought it was supposed to be a little warmer today, but they said that I think it's supposed to get warmer now. We had a little cool front come through and some rain today. So it's been kind of chilly and damp all day. So, okay. So remember, we're also going to have a drawing at the end of the class, and you get entered to win by making comments. So I will take your comments on my tablet over here, and I'll mix them up, and I'll just point my finger to one, and that will be who will win the prize. And this week, oh, cool. So people are getting in. Okay. Hello. So this week, the prize will be a candy wrapper zipper bag. So I still have my Lifesavers candy wrapper zipper bag. And this one's, it's green on the inside too. So this will be the prize this time. All right. So remember to make comments so you get entered to win the prize. I know, isn't it cute? I like this one. And this was the little fill. Remember, we had the class a few weeks ago about how to do the fills in PE design. And this is the fill I created, and I used that one for this bag. So I really liked it. So it turned out very cute. This was pretty good sized. It was a pretty good sized bag. It's probably 10 inches long. It's pretty good size. So, okay. I like them too. And the bag, when I opened up the bag originally, I don't think you can smell them now, but when I opened up the bag originally and I put the iron on it to put the vinyl fuse on, you could smell the mints. You could still smell the mints in the bag, but I don't think you can smell them now. Maybe if there was a little heat. I can't smell them anymore. So, but yeah, so anyway, that's going to be the price tonight. All right. So I'll put it over here. Hopefully it won't fall on the floor here. Nothing's quite in the right spot, because I have my sewing table and the machine and everything's in the living room, and everything else is in my sewing room, which is that way. And I'm still running back and forth trying to get machine like fabrics, and there's half of the stuff's in there and half of it's here. So oh, cool. So yeah, so these are really fun. So I had the Lifesavers one. I don't know if I have any more or not to give away. I can't remember if I have any more of those, so I'll have to see what I have. So I do have some other stuff to give away yet this year. So we have a few more classes this year, and I'll be giving some more things away each week. So, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera down, and let's get started on our pumpkin. This was, I have to say, I was very pleased with this table topper. I like this one very much. Not yet. My house is still not put together. I'm still waiting for the insurance company. My contractor is going to start working next week. So he had another job he was finishing, and he hopes to get started this next week. Would be very happy to be able to put my sewing table back in my sewing room so that I can see what I'm doing. It's very dark in here, but it works. It's working. And when I put the camera down, it's lighter under the machine, so it won't be so dark and glary. So, okay, so just a second. Let me switch the camera over here. And let's do some embroidery tonight. Let's see. Get the microphone changed and the camera. There we go. All right, and then let me turn off the banner. Hide the banner. Get the comments back up here. All right. Okay, so this is my finished table topper. And this is the one that I put the autumn. This was autumn 1 for the quilting on it. And this one had like leaves and little vines and stuff on it. It was very pretty. But then the new one that I did, oops, I don't know where that came from. The new one that I did, I used autumn 2. Okay. So let me show you the new one here. So let's pull this back. We're going to learn how to make those little bows too. And this one is autumn 2, and you see it has little pumpkins. So it's like swirls with little pumpkins on the ends. So I thought that was cute because, we have pumpkins. So I thought that one turned out really cute too. Did the same color of thread. I like that. And then I had a different backing on this one. I had yellow for the backing on this one, and the other one has kind of a brown backing. So, okay. So I have done some of the embroidery on this, as you can see. The first video that I'll link in the description will be the video about how to do the quilting. Okay. And then the second video will be about how to do the binding, so that you can remember how to do the binding. And I'm going to be putting on nice dark oh yeah, the snowman, I'm working on it. I think I've got him finished, but I have to sew him out, so I'll show him to you. Yep, it'll be in December. We'll do that in December. I'm not quite done. I got a little bit waylaid with the house, so but I'm going to put the dark brown binding on this one. So okay, all right, so there's my binding. So yes, I'll show you the snowman. Everybody will get him. I just haven't quite finished him. I need to stitch him out to make sure he stitches okay. All right, so let's talk about how to quilt this. So again, I like to, on these designs, I am putting matching thread in the bobbin so that the back has the pretty bobbin thread on it as well, okay? instead of just plain white bobbin thread because I'm going through the whole thing. And I thought it looked real nice with the orange on the back. And we've talked about this each time, but we'll talk about it again today. Find my pieces here. Okay, this is print and stick target paper. So what I did is I made a template of my design to help me get it in the right place on my table topper. So I printed it out on my print and stick target paper. I think the Floriani product is called, I can't think what it's called. It's also like a target paper, or they call it, I can't think what they call it. It just escaped me. I'll think of it here in a minute. So I printed this on this, and the thing I like about this paper is it's slightly adhesive, and you can use it over and over again. So you can see that I've used this for all of my pumpkins on both of my things, or both of my table toppers. And I put my snowman on here. Okay, so I can use, if you're using a regular hooping method with a grid, you can use your lines to help you get it lined up. And in my case, I'm going to use the snowman on my Luminaire. Okay, so we're going to use that. And then the other thing that I always do with these is, got my fabrics here. Right on these two edges, there was a red line, or I think it was kind of reddish colored. That is the placement line, because remember, originally these were supposed to be put on before we did the quilting, but I changed it so that we're doing the embroidery through the table topper. So I cut that line off inside 1/4 of an inch because it's supposed to have been on the bottom of the raw edge of the seam right here. And of course, you know, my raw edge is right here. Okay. And it's in the seam, so it's hard to see. So what I did is I cut that 1/4 inch off, because then when I peel my little template off, I can lay it in my corner and just match up the raw edges here. So I'm just going to match that up with the seam between my borders and my corner. Okay. So when I cut that 1/4 inch off, it helped to, then I didn't have to try to figure out where I was. So there is my template. Okay, so there he is, and it's going to look like that. Just a second here, I'm going to move this other one because it's kind of in the way. So I'm going to move it over here because it wants to stick to my other one. Okay, so here is our pumpkin. And we got our template ready in the center, and that's going to look just like the other ones. So here's one of the ones I've done. Okay. And we got that in our corner. Now this particular design is the one that's called Pumpkin Table Topper. And I'm working with a 6x10 hoop. It fits really nicely in a 6x10 hoop. And I needed some fabric. So I needed 2 oranges of the same color, and one that was a different color. So here are my 2 pieces. And let's see, I made the stem. This is for the stem, the browns for the stem. And that one was 2x2. All right, so I cut 4, one for each pumpkin. And then I made my outside pieces matching, and those were 3x5. And so I cut 8 of those total, you know, for all 4 corners. So there's 2 in each corner. And then I had 4 of this piece, which is going to be my centerpiece. And this piece is also 3x5. So I had 4 of those. Okay, so there's my applique pieces. And the way I became upon those sizes is I just brought the design up. And when I did my placement line, I just kind of figured out how big to make them. And so I could tell you about it, so you wouldn't have to guess. So they're 3x5, and this is 2x2, and they're plenty big enough. Okay, so there's my pieces. So that's the pieces we're going to use on our pumpkin. All right. So give me a second here. I got to find my hoop. So I am going to do this using a snap hoop. I like to use my dime snap hoops when I do these, because then it's easier to hoop them. And yeah, the fabric turned out good. This was all just fabric I had at home. I've been trying to use up scraps and stuff. So this is all I had stuff. In fact, these pieces here were just back quarters, like this one and this one were just back quarters. And this was some leftover fabric I had from something else. And I think everything else was pretty much leftover fabric. So, okay. So let's go ahead and bring our design up. So I'm going to go to embroidery and my stick here. And it's under Kimberbell Cuties. And I think they just call it pumpkin. Let's see here. Maple leaf owl pumpkin. And here's our pumpkin. Bring it up and I'm going to hit set and embroidery. So there's actually quite a few little appliques. So here's that line I was telling you about that I cut off. This is the placement line that would have been used if we would have done the embroidery before we put this together. Yes, it does last to reuse it. It doesn't last forever, but I've used this 8 times and it's worked. So it lasts quite a while. So yeah, on the Target paper. Yep. So I have used these, you know, I've used the same one for all of my corners. Okay. All right. So now you can see that the pumpkin's kind of tipped this way. So let's see if the orientation looks right for us. When we come over here, we'll see how the pumpkin is tipped kind of to the left. And our snowman is on, so his little head is up. So this is the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up roughly with the center of my snowman. So the center of my snowman sticker is the dot in his body. And I'm just going to kind of line the needle roughly in that area. Okay, like that. And then we're going to put our top of our hoop in here and just drop it down. And then we can pull a little bit to get it lined up again. And the trick with these, though, is you do want it to be relatively straight because there's not an overabundance of room in this hoop, but there's enough. Because it actually would fit, it has to be 6. So it could actually fit in a 6x6 hoop almost, but I like the 6x10. So, all right. So we're going to kind of get it straightened out here a little bit. I'm just a little crooked on this side, looks like. Okay. And make sure all of your edges line up. Otherwise, your hoop might slip. Okay. All right. That looks pretty good. Okay. So now we're going to go over here. Yes, you could drop the needle. I normally don't because it doesn't need to be exact, but I like it to be pretty close underneath there, the snowman center, because that way it's going to be pretty close to centered already. The hoop is not overly large, but we have plenty of wiggle room. Okay, so I don't normally drop the needle, but you could. I just never do. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm in the embroidery screen and I'm going to go find my snowman. So my snowman is on layout. Some of the machines will say edit here again instead of layout. Depends on the machine you have. So mine says layout. I'm going to hit layout and then I'm going to hit the little snowman. Okay to revert to the original position? Sure. And then I want it to be centered. So that's what this means. And I'm just going to hit scan. And this will be the default generally. And I'm going to hit scan. And OK. And then it's going to go over and it's going to scan over here. Excuse me. And pretty soon here, we should be able to find our snowman. I hope he finds him. I have noticed since I'm in the living room here, sometimes light makes a difference when it comes to the snowman function and the scanning function. So it's not very light in here. Sometimes too much light is bad and sometimes not enough light. So it depends on your location. So every now and then in here, I have a little problem because it's a little bit dark. but it seems to be working pretty well. All right, let's see how it does. So it's found him. See, he's looking. And it says remove the embroidery positioning mark. So it's got him all lined up. And you can, I don't know if you can see very well, but it has slightly tipped it this direction just a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to click OK. We're going to go over here. So that's how easy it is to use the snowman. So don't be afraid of using your snowman, because a lot of you have that feature because it's been in the machines for a very long time. So yeah, so here's the little paper, and the shiny side is where you want to put this back on. So I like to just keep it in it, and it isn't like ultra sticky on that, but it sticks pretty well to the fabric. Yeah, so I do like keeping these, and then I have the same template to use again. Not really. I have had some really old snowmen that sometimes the sticky gets a little bit low tack. Oh, it didn't work? Okay, so make sure with your snowman that you are putting it in the correct, don't try to correct for the snowman. Just put it on where you think it needs to be and put it right with the head up, and then it will find it. Okay. What kind of printer paper? This is called, print and stick target paper. It's a paper that Dime makes that is made for templates that has a tacky on the back. Okay. The snowman very rarely doesn't work for me. So if it didn't work for you, let me show you one thing that might have caused that, so that you can look for this in your settings. And this is the same way for any of the machines. Okay. I have it on our website. It's on shieldssewingcenter.com, that target paper. But if you have trouble with your snowman, it could be too much light, and it could be not enough light. So be aware that it could be one of those two things. Every now and then I'll have a fabric that causes it to be wonky. Sometimes it's a color of the fabric, but the other thing that causes it is in the settings page. And I'll have to look for it here just a second. Okay, on this screen where it says background image display, there's a little thing down a little further that says fabric thickness sensor. Make sure that that is turned off, because if you have it turned on, the snowman doesn't always work. So be aware that you need to have that turned off. Okay. Okay, so the stellaire is going to work a little differently with the snowman. You put your snowman on the same way, and I have a couple of videos that I use the snowman quite a bit for, and they were under my playlist Shields Live. So turn it off. Colleen, turn yours off, turn it off. And then try your snowman again. You may have much better results, because this needs to be off. You would think it needs to be on, but there's only like one reason you turn it on, and I hardly ever do. So turn it off and then go back and try it again. And I bet it'll work better for you. Okay. The stellaire, though, I have a couple of videos on Shields Live. If you go to YouTube, Sew Along with Jan, and the playlist Shields Live, there's a couple of videos using the snowman with the stellaire. And with the stellaire, you have to use your hoops with the little, well, I call them bugs. It's the little alignment dots, and you have to take a picture to get it to work. But then that same button with the snowman is on your screen under layout, on the last screen, on your embroidery screen. And then you finish it here. So you start with the picture taking, and then you use this to finish it. And it's not hard once you get the hang of it. Okay. Just has an extra step. Okay. And if you're putting your snowman on the fabric, that's fine. I put my snowman on the fabric. But if you had that thick thing turned on, it probably won't work. Okay. Yeah, I use the snowman all the time, and I use it on fabric all the time, but I just happen to be using it. Like when I did the quilting, if you go watch my quilting video for the Kimberbell Cuties, I use the snowman right on the fabric. for that, for all of these. And that's how I did it, is with the snowman, and it works really, really slick. But I do not have that thickness button turned on. It has to be turned on. Okay. All right. So I have put matching embroidery thread in my bobbin. So I have my standard bobbin case in. I wound my orange thread. So I'm going to put just my orange thread in with the orange thread in the bobbin to do all of the piecing, just because then I don't have to change the bobbin thread. Okay. So that's what I did. I have that. I have number 11 needle in my needle, or a number 11 needle in the machine, and I have my orange embroidery thread in the bobbin and in the top. So we're going to do the, whoops, guess what? I forgot to advance. So see over here how it's going to try to do that placement line. We don't need that. So I'm going to go over here. Ask Jan how many times she's done that doing these things. Whoops. I've done it a lot of times. So we're going to advance through this. So hit the little positive negative needle here. Okay. And then hit the down arrow, and we're going to go to the second step. We don't need that first step. Okay. All right. So now we're ready for the placement line for the first piece of the applique. And that's going to be one of the outside pieces. So we're going to use the plain orange. Oh yeah, I don't know how many times I've done that. It's like, how many times can I forget to change and skip through that step? I think I've done it on almost every one I've done. And how many we've done now? We're only got 2 left out of 12. So, and I've made 2 of each. All right, so there's my first one, my placement line. And we've all done applique. I think all of us have done applique pretty much before. So I'm going to cover this up. Okay. And then the second step is going to be my tack down line. Yeah, the snowman works really slick. I use the snowman a lot. Oops, I almost missed that one, didn't I? But it still made it. Just barely. Yeah, I had a dream machine instead of a Destiny, but it was a wonderful machine. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim this one close to the stitches. Just be careful, don't cut through your stitches. I think my cat decided to go in and sleep on the bed tonight because I'm in here. She was very happy. I was working in my sewing room last night at the cutting table, so she was happy I was out there. Oh yeah, I learn something new on the Luminaire every day. There's always something that, you know, you don't realize. It's like, oh, it does that. That's right. I love my Luminaire. And mine's about 5 years old too. I got it when it first came out. So, all right, we're going to trim up here. Can't reach very well. There we go. All right, so then I've got my first piece. So then the second piece is going to be on the other side. So that's going to be that other plain one. So we'll do our placement line. My other plain ones start ready here. Last night I was doing some foiling on my cards. Mine is, yes, I have the baby. I have the Dream Machine, which is a brother machine. I had the Dream Machine. The Baby Lock, this is a Luminaire instead of a Baby Lock Solaris. So this is a Luminaire. I have a brother machine. So I have no opinion. We sell them both at our store. I have no opinion really one over the other. I just like Disney, so I usually buy the brother machine. All right, so then I put my fabric down over that spot, over that placement line, and we are going to stitch our tack down line for this side and trim that one. Yep, so I usually buy a brother just because I like Disney, so I usually buy the brother machine. So either one is they're very much the same. The designs are going to be different, but the functions of the machines are the same. I have other Baby Lock machines. Usually my embroidery machine is a brother. Yeah, I think the fabrics turned out pretty good. These were all just fabrics I had at home, so I haven't really bought much for these except for a few. I had to buy a couple of backs and a little bit of binding, I think, because I didn't have enough to do two. And Judy gets the second one of these each time, so I want to make sure hers looks nice too. So, oops, can't reach here. And when you pull these magnetic hoops out, just be careful when you pull them out that you don't disturb the top. Okay, so I'm always very careful to kind of use the, like over here, when I push this back in, I'm going to push on the thing that goes into the machine in here. So I'm not pushing on the hoop because you can disturb that top. You don't want to do that. Okay, now the third piece is going to be the center piece here. We'll do the placement line for that. Yeah, I guess all of my embroidery machines have been Brothers just because of the Disney. I like the Disney. But I do have a baby lock. I have a baby lock. What'd you say? Somebody asked what the size. Oh, my hoop, this hoop, is the 6x10. So you need to put it in a 6x10, Anna. All right, so then this is going to be my centerpiece. Hey, you're going to burn yourself. Just a second. We're having almost had a catastrophe over here. She decided to come out of the bedroom. I shouldn't have said anything because then she came. I have a glue gun hooked up over here. I didn't want her to burn herself. Okay, so here's my piece that's going to go in the center. And we're going to cover up the center and do the tack down line. Hey, you're going to have to move, kid, because you're on the embroidery. Okay. So yeah, you got to be a little careful with your magnetic hoops because you just don't want to disturb that upper portion. So yeah, these are pretty fun. The embroidery, these are very easy embroidery patterns. So none of these are hard. It's just I thought the hardest part was the piecing and the sewing them together because I'm not really, I don't really piece that much. So this has been the biggest challenge for me. The embroidery has been pretty easy. All right, so we're going to trim this one. Here's our third one. And I'm just leaving the orange. I left the orange in the bobbin for all of this so I didn't have to change it. Because the next color is going to be brown and I just left it in. Second here, I got to stand up so I can get this. These are always, it's hard to get the hoops in and out for these little spots here. Okay. All right, just a second. We're going to have another catastrophe here pretty soon. Just a second. I need to, come here, you. I know we're not in the right spot. I know. Here you go. Can you sit down here? Okay. I think she just wanted to sit on my lap. Okay. Then the final piece of the applique is going to be the little stem up there, and that's going to be brown, but I'm just going to leave the orange thread in. And just use the orange, and then the tan. I'll use a tan to do the satin stitch, but it'll cover it up nicely. So. Okay. So I'm going to cover that up, and then we're going to do the tack down stitch for that. And we'll trim that one. Yeah, I kind of liked this orange. It was a little softer. It wasn't as bright. I mean, it could have been brighter because I have brighter colors, but this is the orange I happen to have. So, all right, so we're going to pull this out so I can reach my stem, but I'm very carefully don't want to disturb that top part. Okay. I don't know why suddenly we have to sit on my lap, but she probably hears me talking. I think Gigi is nearly deaf. And so I don't think she hears me talking. I think she sees me sitting out here. My friend confirmed when she was taking care of her that she thinks she's almost completely deaf. All right. So there is my stem. Okay. Now we're going to be doing the satin stitching next, but there's one thing I like to do. So give me a second. I'm going to pull this back a little bit. Sometimes there's a lot of knots on the back of this, so I'm going to be very carefully tip this up and take it out and tip it up. I normally lay it flat somewhere, but I'm going to tip it up so you can see what I'm doing. And I don't know if you can see, but there's some pretty good knots right here. So before I do my satin stitching, I like to cut off all this mess off the back so that it doesn't show outside of my satin stitching. So I'm just going to do a little cleanup here. Just careful not to disturb anything. And get those little knots trimmed out. And then you don't see them, you know, after you do the satin stitching. But it just kind of cleans it up a little bit on the back. Because I've noticed there's they kind of start at the same place all the time, so there's usually pretty good knots there. Okay, so let's lay this back down carefully, and I'm going to slide it back into the machine, and I am going to continue with the orange. I normally, Anna, when I do that, I don't normally do that, but I wanted you to be able to see. What I normally do is I take it out and I lay it over on the table next to me and do it and then put it back on. And I just tipped it up this time so you could see what I was doing, okay? And just a second here, give me a second, my Facebook decided to update in the middle of class here, so now I can't get the tablet to come back up. Oh, come on. So I can't see your comments very well. Just a second. I don't know what's going on here. Let me restart the tablet, so we'll just let it restart while we're going here, because it's being freaky. Did it do it? No, a second. Having technology problems. Okay, let me just restart my tablet. It probably updated Facebook or something. No, they won't, because these are just, they won't come out. I tried not to cut through the knot. I just cut all the strings off. But the satin stitches are going to go over the top and they'll all be hidden. But I just wanted to make sure that those little strings weren't sticking out of my satin stitching. Okay, so let's get our satin stitching going here. I got everything put back in. I'm going to leave the orange in, and it's going to do all the satin stitching on the pumpkin. And in the meantime, then we'll be able to see if I can get my tablet to restart here. I have a feeling Facebook probably updated on it, and then it gets mad and won't come back up. Because I have to have this for the prize, you know. Here. They don't have too many. I don't have that many names on StreamYard. So if you haven't told StreamYard that it's okay for me to see your name, you can do that after the class. You can go to this post and there's a little link in there that you can click on and you can tell me it's okay. So let's see here. I think this just decided it was going to update probably. I think it's going to come back up again. Let's see what's going here. So they do a very nice job of doing the satin stitches. They do a nice cover stitch over everything, so nothing's going to be, I think it's going to come back up okay. Just have to get back into my group. My tablet is getting kind of slow, so it's time for a new tablet. Yeah, I don't do everything like specific to one machine, but most of the stuff I do is connected to the Brother and Baby Lock machines. So the snowman feature is on a lot of the machines. Okay, let's see if I can get back in here. I can't see everybody's name, so if I don't call you by name, I can only see a few of the names. That's why I picked the prize with my tablet, because I can see people's names there. So that's why I do it there. Oh, you have 4 kitties? I had 5 at one time. And I had 4 for a long time. So I'm down to 1. I had a lot of older kitties all at the same time. So, all right, I think I found us here. All right, so I think it's going to work again. All righty. Let's see. So it's still spinning. I don't know if that's good or bad. It still says I'm going. Everything looks okay on StreamYard, and it doesn't say anything's bad. So hopefully you're still seeing me. But my tablet's not doing anything. I think it could just be Facebook. Sometimes Facebook is freaky. Oh, I think it came up. I think it's working now. Okay. No, Cindy, you don't have to. I can see, I think I can, no, I can't see your name. But if you've cleared your browser history, you may have to. So you just need to go click the link in the video. So it's in the description below the video on Facebook. Just click that link and you can say okay, that I can see your name. And I can't see your name. So, all right, so everybody's hearing me okay? So I think my tablet finally came back up. So just so you know, I lost some of the comments. So make sure lots of comments so that we have lots of comments to choose from for the prize. I lost some of the comments. Okay, so I may use some of the comments on my computer too, because I did lose a few comments when my tablet decided. So make sure you make comments so you can get entered in the prize. There's a lot of people here tonight. All right, so we're going around the outside edge, and then it's going to do this edge too, and then we'll switch to the other color for the. I've got my other color up here for the stem. Let's see. The comments are weird on Facebook, and the live ones, so they come up as live comments, but I can't see the past ones now since my tablet decided to have a fit. And oh, I can find some more here though, so I'll have some to choose from. So don't forget to say something. Marianne, let's see. No, I can't see your name, Marianne. So you need to go do that on the Facebook page. Do I have my machine at full speed? No, I don't. I usually leave my machine at about 800, I think is where it is. I think that's fast enough. Marianne Adams, no, I can't. So when the class is over, you can go back to this video on Sew Along with Jan on Facebook, and there's a little link right below right by the oops, something's going on here. Just a second. Stop. Wonder if I ran out of bobbin thread. Let me look. My bobbin sensor hasn't been working very well, so we'll take a look. Bet you I ran out of bobbin thread. Aren't you glad things like this happen to me too? And somebody else asked if I could see your comment. I can see it, but I don't know your name. So can you see my comment? Make sure whoever that, oh, see, ran out of bobbin thread. Look at there. Have to wind a little bobbin thread here. My bobbin sensor has been a little freaky. I need to blow out my machine. It's dirty. The bobbin sensor is like my technician described it to me. It's sort of like two laser lights that meet. And if you get some fluff down in there, then it doesn't, you know, the laser light can't meet. And so it doesn't turn off and you just run out of bobbin thread. So, and that's what happened. I am really considering YouTube. Yes, somebody asked if I'm going to do live on YouTube, and I haven't decided yet. I have to pay for the service. So this is the free service that I'm using now from StreamYard, but I have to pay for it if I want to stream live to Facebook and YouTube at the same time. Okay, so we're going to back up a little bit here. All right. Things aren't coming through on Facebook too well, so I'm not sure if I'm getting everybody's. Oh, there it comes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and rethread here. And then we're going to back up a little bit so we can get a little. I think we just missed just a little bit. Yeah, the link, you won't be able to see it until after the class is over. So once the class is over, go back to Facebook and the group Sew Along with Jan and find this video. That's tonight's video. And there'll be a link in the description area that you'll be able to click on, okay? All right, so we're going to go back a little bit. We're going to go back maybe 40 stitches or so. I think that should be enough. It didn't stop right away, so I think it'll be fine. So we're going to go ahead and start here. I went back about 40 stitches. I think we'll be fine. Okay, so sometimes, like I have a tendency to clear my browser history. So if you do that, you may have to tell Facebook it's okay again. So just so if I say something about not seeing your name, or if you ask me about your name, and then it will, and just, I'm the only one that can see it. It's not like everybody in the world seeing your name. It's just me. But it's on, then I have people's names on my computer over here, and it's easier for me to read on the bigger screen. That's why I use my tablet too, so that I can see everybody's names. Why do I make 2 of each cutie? Well, I have to make one so I know how to do it, okay? Because I like to be able to teach the class and not, you know, be fumbling through it because I don't know what I'm doing. And then I like to make one with you. So I make one ahead of time so I have samples. And then then the second one goes to my friend Judy. So she has them on her table, like her island in the kitchen. So that's why I make 2. I like to, most of the classes I do 2 of everything, at least 2. Sometimes I do more. But I like to be able to make the project so that I know what I'm doing and I can take notes in my book and I know what I'm, you know, what I'm doing when I get to the class. So sometimes I make some videos, like I'm going to be making a couple more videos, and sometimes I just turn the camera on. Yes, Bernadette, I can see your name now. Yes, thank you for giving permission. So if you can find that little thing, just click on it and it'll let me see your name. So that's great. No, I think it's just mine. Somebody asked if it gives access to everybody. No, it's just me. So it'll just be me. So if you have other people you watch that use StreamYard and can't see your name, you'll have to say okay for them too. What is the thing? Oh, that I used to make my books. It's a comb binding machine. I bought mine on eBay years ago. A lot of people have been buying them on Amazon, but it's a comb binding machine. COMB. And I really like it. It's nice to be able to make my books that way. So she's talking about this for those of you who haven't seen my books. So my books are all have the little comb on them. So I print my book out and then I punch it and then put the little comb in here. And I have a book that lays flat. So I like that. Second here. Oh, now I'm getting some answers again. Okay, so then we got all of our orange done. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and move to the brown for the stem. Yeah, I think mine was about maybe $50 or $60, but I've had mine for a very long time. I got mine maybe in, I think I got it in about 2011 or so. So I've had it for quite a long time. Barb, I'm not sure. Yes, I do. I see your name now too. Oh, people are getting very good, people. You're doing a great job. Awesome. I'm seeing more and more names. That's awesome that you're doing that for me. Thank you. Because then it's easier for me to see what's on the screen on the computer. All right, so now I'm gonna go to my brown. This is wicker, 1173, and then the orange I'm using is actually called warm red, believe it or not, but it's orange. That's the ones that seem to match. Don't forget to comment. I lost a few comments, so make sure you're commenting so that we can have a winner. I can, Roxana. Thank you. I can. Yes, everybody's getting their name to show up. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so we're going to slide this back in. Oops, and did I get my brown bobbin in there? Remember to replace your bobbin. Yeah, I like the Brother thread. This is Brother thread. And I've been using Brother thread for years and years, so I have been, I like it. Okay, so there I've got and I'm threaded. Okay, so now we're going to do the satin stitching around our stem. And it's going to cover up that little bit of orange, so it's fine. Oh, hi Dawn, so you're a little late. That's okay. You can always go back and watch the video later or on YouTube. I'll put this up on YouTube. Oh, what kind of threads do I use? Just Brother? I use mostly Brother now. I also use Madeira Poly Neon. Those are the two that I use most of the time now. So I have, I've used Brother thread ever since I've had a machine. So it's been years, 20 years. And I kind of got away from it for a while because they didn't have too many colors. They only had like 60 colors. And about 3 or 4 years ago, they came out with more colors, and now there's like 300 and some. There's over 300 colors now. So I actually do use Brother most of the time. Yes, I can, Cindy. Awesome job. Yeah, Glide is very nice, I think. The problem with Glide for me is that I can't go buy it anywhere. I have to order it online, and I get tired of ordering everything. So I can just walk into the store and buy a spool of thread because I use the Brother, or we also carry Floriani. But I get tired of having to go someplace else to get my thread. So that's why I use Brother. I do order my Madeira Poly Neon. I've been using that for 20 years too. So I do order that. But, you know, it's a little irritating when all of a sudden you're halfway through something, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm out of thread. And then I have to wait a week to get it. So, okay. So I think we're done. Look at that. Wasn't that easy? And yes, about the Pima cotton. Pima cotton thread is a cotton quilting thread, Anna. And so I used to buy it at Hobby Lobby, and they don't, or at Craft Scene. They don't have it anymore. So I'm trying to find some new threads I like. Does Brother make any other colors of bobbin thread? Yes, they have black and they have white. Yeah, that's the thing. I like to be able to buy thread locally. So almost all my thread comes from the store, except the Madeira. And I've been using Madeira for many, many years. I use the Madeira for my photo stitches, but I've started using Brother now because they have enough colors. So somebody else asked if I could see their name, and no, I can't. So I'm not sure who that was just now. A second. Let me check my tablet here. I like it. Do you like that? I like the pumpkins. So there's my pumpkin. So that was a pretty easy project, wasn't it? I did the other 3 the other night so that they'd be done so we could play with the bows. I like the bows. So we're going to play with those next. Okay. So let me go ahead and unhoop this, and I'm going to turn this over and trim my little tails. So, and just be careful when you trim your tails not to trim through the knots, okay? Just trim them off so that they don't stick up so far. And there's probably an orange one here too somewhere. Not sure where it is. Maybe it covered it up with the tan. I think it did. Okay. So I got all my little tails trimmed. And there's our table topper with all 4 of the pumpkins. Give me a second here. Let's get this out of here. Trying to find the little thing. So when you get these snap hoops, okay, they come with these things. Okay, they come with these little white things. They have a little handle on them. Don't throw these away. Ask me how I know on the first one. I threw the first one away, and if you try to put these, if you put these together like with nothing in them, boy, are they hard to get apart. So this is to put in between so that to store them, and then you can actually pick it up by the little handle like that. So okay, yes, the bows are jute. So I had to go do some shopping. So we're going to play with the bows now. And I had to go do some shopping because I didn't have any jute twine. Yes, and they do hurt if you pinch your fingers in there. So be careful of your fingers because they are tight. Okay, so what I did is I just bought some jute twine. I went to Walmart in Anamosa, and I went back to where the hardware is, and I bought jute twine. Okay. Yeah, I did that. Did you see that? I wrote the size of each one of these down because they're a little different looking than like the regular hoops are. So I wrote the size on this so that I knew what size each hoop was. And I normally only have one out at a time, so that's why excuse me, I just wrote them down. So 6 by 10 is what this one is, okay? So I have them all written. I just took a Sharpie marker and wrote it on there. Okay, so there's the back of our table topper. We've got our nice orange on the back. Okay, makes it nice and decorative. And our cute little pumpkin quilting on here. So I think we're set for some bows. All right, so we've done this a few times with my bow maker. I love my little bow maker. Let me take a drink of water here. Yeah, this was just from Walmart. You can get jute twine most anywhere. I went in and looked at they have jute like with the what I want to say, the jewelry too. But it was way more expensive than just going back to the hardware department and buying this little spool. So, okay, give me a second. I'm going to run over and plug my iron in because sometimes the jute comes out and it's kind of wrinkly and I just iron it. So let me go turn my iron on. I forgot that I sometimes have to iron it because it's kind of wrinkly. Yeah, I thought the quilting was cute. I like the little pumpkins. This one had pumpkins on it. All right, so what I'm going to do, you can see it's kind of curly. It's going to make our bows look funny. So I'll just let my iron warm up, and then when it beeps, I'll go. So what I do is I just pull a whole bunch out, and I just run the iron along it and make it nice and flat. Because we're going to use a bunch of twine here, so I may have to do it a couple times. So let's see here. Okay, so we're going to get the bow maker out. So some of you have these. These are up on my, you can buy the bows. You can. These are very easy to make. So here's my bow maker. Okay, and I'm going to grab out my little posts here. And I think I made a note in my book here how many posts I skipped. So let me get this out here. Got to get the other one. I think I skipped 3 is what I said. Let's see. I wrote it down on the other portion of the class. So let's see here. November bow maker, skip 3 holes, 3 wraps. Okay. That's what I did to make my bows. So I skipped 3 holes in my bow maker. So I put the 2 little posts in. We've used this a couple times. So now you get to watch me do one that has several wraps on it. Just a second here. I see if my see if my iron is hot yet, so I can get these ironed. Very curly. Okay. So what I do is I just lay the iron down on the mat, and I just put this under it, and I just pull it through and see how nice and flat it is now. It's pretty good now. Okay, so give me a second here. I'm missing a couple of people. Okay. Oh, Marianne, are you having trouble with yours? Okay. So what I did is I left 3 holes here, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 times. So I'm just going to 1, 2, because I want 3 little wraps on here. And you can do this with ribbon too, because then you get more little pokies, you know, more little pieces of your bow. So 1, 2, 3. Okay, so there's my 3 wraps. Okay. And I don't want to pull just a little bit tight there. All right. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie this just like I do a regular bow. So I'm going to cross this over and flip it over the top. Even though, since this doesn't have any like right and wrong side, it's easier. And then I'm just going to tie my knot in here. Like this. And tie it tight. Oops, I think I made my knot the wrong way. There we go. Oop. Everything's sliding on me. There we go. Okay, so I have 3. Do I have 3? Or do I have 4? Oh, I think I got 4. I got an extra one. Let's do this again. I think I got an extra ribbon. We just might want 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. All right. We didn't want so many loops. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. Cross it over the front. Remember, this is the front away from you. And then I'm just going to tie a knot. And I just have it attached to the cord yet, to the thing. I didn't detach it. I'm just going to tie it real tight, like that. Pull it off, and see, then I've got the 3 little loops on there. And make it neat. So there's a bow. Do a couple more. I have to do all of them. I haven't done any of them yet, so I'll make 4. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this off down here, and we can cut them off more if we want. So there's my first bow. So there's the little jute. Okay, the bow makers are on my website. So the bow makers are on sew-along-with-jan.square.site. That's the name of my website. And they're on there. They're $20. And my friend Orlin makes these. And I think I just saw Orlin and Kathy come on. So I put it around 3 times. And I'm going to bring it around here. Flip it over. I have to flip it over. And then tie it. Actually, I think I made my end kind of short. Let's redo it. I want to make this end longer. Pull this end. There we go. Okay. Flip it over and tie a knot. And there's instructions in with the bow makers. I think they're going to make some more because we're about out. Okay. Oops. Got that one really off, didn't I? Here we go. These are pretty easy to tie because it's forgiving. It's just jute. It's a little easier to work with than the ribbon. Okay, so there's another ribbon, another bow. I'm going to make sure this is good and tight. Okay, and then we're going to glue them on so they'll be fine. And then let's just cut the ends off here. Okay, so there's two, like that. Let's do another one here. I might have to go iron again. Just a second, let me go iron again. So it really helps just to run it under the iron and press it a little bit. I do like the bow maker, so I have a little trouble. So I'll do next month. We're going to be doing ribbon, and we're going to be doing multiple layers of ribbon. So we'll do more bow tying next month with the bow maker. And we're going to make ribbons next time, so they'll be a little easy, a little harder, but we're going to do like 3 strands like this again. So yeah, so my website is sew-along-jan.square.site. And that's where they are. Okay, so there's another one. Got another one. I'm just putting it around. I skipped 3, and I don't know how long it is. I just left it attached to the. I just got it attached to the ball, so I don't really know. I'm just tying, so I'm just going 1, 2, 3. So I want 3 wraps. Okay, so there's 3 sides on 3 wraps on each side. Oh, the sandpaper, yeah. If you've ordered one and your poles are a little tight, just use a real fine grit sandpaper and just sand them a little bit, because I noticed that in the summer, you know, in the humidity, some of them are a little tight. So just do some very fine grit sandpaper and sand them. So this is the 4th one. So get that nice and tight. Got one of these that didn't stay very tight for me. I think it'll be okay. All right. Like that. And then here is the 4th one. Okay, just a second. I'm going to see if I can get some more of my chat to come through here. There we go. Yeah, I love the bow maker. I've been making bows for a long time because I make porcelain dolls. And so the porcelain dolls, you got to have a bow maker, because we always were making bows for their hair and their clothes and all that. And so I just have never been able to tie bows very well. So I don't like this one. I think I'm going to tie this one again. This is the one that looks weird. So let's try this one again. This one just didn't look right. So I can retie it. I just untied it. Let's see if this one will let me. Sometimes I do these right-handed and sometimes I do them left-handed, so don't mind me. Somebody right-handed taught me to tie bows, so I sometimes do them right-handed. All right, there we go. That looks better. Okay, so there's my bow with my little, what kind of glue? I am going to just use, you can use any kind of glue you want. I am just going to use hot glue to put these on. But if you want to use fabric glue, you could use fabric glue. Okay, so the bow maker. Then you can, and then, you know, depending on how far apart you make these, the bows will be bigger or smaller. And then they also come with some of these bigger. So like if you have thicker ribbon, you want to use these bigger posts. And then then they'll be easier to work with the bigger, thicker ribbon. So I just use the little ones for this. Okay. So there's the bow maker. Bow maker's fun, and it comes with instructions on how to do it. And I also did a video on just how to make bows. So it was just a bow video for the bow maker. So you can go watch that. I made quite a few different bows in there, but I use it quite often. So we're going to use it for this project. So then what I wanted to do, let's see, how long did I make my bows? Look at my bows here. Not sure how long I made my little tails. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to glue these on. I got my glue gun over here. So I think I'm just going to glue these on. Like right, I think I glued them on. Yeah, just above the, just like on the little, the end of the stem, like right above the little V here. So I'm just going to glue these on. Put some hot glue on them, maybe. I think it's on. Oh yeah, there we go. Just going to glue these on. And then we'll do the ends. And you can kind of fluff them and make them look pretty. This one needs to come this way. There we go. Okay, make them look pretty. And we'll do the ends here in a minute. So let's go around and do these, glue these all on. Oops. Got to bring them with me here. Okay. But the bow maker really works. It helps you hang on and gives you extra hands. So I've always had trouble with bows, and my friend Paul made that for us. And I had a friend Paul that made me my first one, and then my friend Orland's making them for me to put on my website so that other people can get a bow maker. Okay, so we're going to put that on there. So there's that one. Got a little excited with the glue on that one. All right, we're going to go over here. Trying to make sure I'm not missing comments. Yes, if you want to wash these without having to take the bows off, you could just tack it down with needle and thread. I don't like to glue. I don't like to do that. And I figured if I stick it in the washing machine and it comes unglued, I'll just glue them back on. So most of the time, you know, these are like decorative and we don't really wash them that much. So I figured I could always just stick it back on. Okay, there's that one. Let's do one more, and then we'll do the tails. I'll show you how I did the tails. All right. Get that one on there. Okay. So then I did something kind of special with the tails. Get this on my lap so I can move. Okay. Yeah, I like the jute. I kind of like the jute, and I thought I'm just going to get some jute twine. So I found some just jute twine. I thought it looked really cute. Okay. So then what I did with my tails, I wanted them to be a little fluffier. So I just I untwirled them so that they had they left little curly ends like that. So I'm just going to untwirl them so that it separates. There's 3 pieces in there. So I'm just going to separate the pieces like that. And then I think I want them cut off a little bit. So let's cut them off maybe around here. Like that. And that one I might take over to the iron and just give it a little iron again. That one's kind of wrinkled at the end here, but like that. I might take that and just press it with the iron again, just to press it down. But there's my little ends. And I just untwirled them. So let's do this one. Okay, and let's just do, I like to trim, I like to untwirl them first and then I trim them off. Let's take them and separate the pieces. Like that. And then the bows that we're going to do next month for the December one are they're a fluffier kind of a I think I made them out of the organza ribbon, so they're soft. So cut these off. About right there. That looks pretty good. Here's another bow. Get these undone. I'm kind of getting the hang of doing bows. After I got my bow makers, I get better. I'm better at it now. I take my time. You could get some baling twine. Maybe that would be a good thing to put on it, Barb. I don't have any horses though, but you do. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one off. That looks pretty good. So what do you think? You like the little bows? And then I'm going to do the last one. I kind of like them. I think Judy was really anxious to get this one because these are her colors. She likes fall colors. So she was anxious for this one. She also liked the Halloween one last month. So she's got that one on her, I know, on her island right now. And she, whenever I bring her the new one, then she puts it out. So I'll finish up the binding this weekend so she can have it right away. All right, so there's that one. I got to find my scissors again. Yeah, I like the tails unwound. Don't you think that looks nice? I thought about just leaving them, and then I thought, no, I kind of like them that way. I did one of them, and I thought, you know what? I kind of like that. There, just gives it a little softness. Like that. So what do you think? So there was our little bow maker lesson. And we got all these pretty bows for our pumpkins, and then you can kind of floof them, you know. So, and then I'm going to put the binding on. I'll trim it. I always take it and trim it. So this is like 2 1/4 inches. It was a 2 1/2 inch strip, so now it's 2 1/4. So I just trim it. You know, I put my 2 1/4 line on my seam, and I trim it off, and then I'll put my binding on. You like that? I like the tails unwound too. And then the December one is going to have, I'll show you the bows on that one. I've got it. I think it's behind me. Just a second. Let me look and see if it's behind me here. I think it is. Yep. So here's the bows we're going to make next time. So these are going to be fluffier bows. So these are also done with 3 wraps, but I made them out of organza, and see how they're fluffy. I have a binding video. So I hate, oh, you hate binding? I have a binding video for these, and I bind mine with the sewing machine. So I put the binding on with the sewing machine, and then I turn it over. The color binding are you using? Oh, my binding, Diane, is the dark brown. So here's the binding. It's dark brown. It matches the borders in here. So this is a dark brown. So here's the bow for the December ones. So these are much fluffier bows. So, okay, so we're going to make those next time with the bow maker. So what do you think? You like those too? I love making, so this is the kind of bows we put on our dolls' heads. You know, we used a lot of organza and wired ribbon. And so we made a lot of these kind of bows to put on top of our dolls' heads so that they would have little hair ribbons. So, okay. All right. So what do you think? So next month, we'll do December. And then next week, we're going to be doing the scan and cut class, and we're going to do that advent calendar, the Christmas advent calendar. Yeah, I think they were 3/4 inch ribbon. Is that what you're asking? 3/4 inch ribbon? So yes, I think it was 3/4 inch ribbon. I was just organza. I think I got it at Hobby Lobby. I didn't have any wider ribbon, so I went and got some. All right, so I'm going to bring the camera up so we can have our drawing. Are you ready for the drawing? Everybody's been very good about letting me see your names, so thank you so much, because that really helps me, because I can see a lot of the names then. For some of you who came in late, StreamYard or Facebook does not allow me to see your name unless you okay it with StreamYard. And the video that will be on Facebook, this video, there's going to be a little thing in the description that you can go click on it and tell Facebook it's okay for me to see your name. Okay. What kind of cardstock for the advent calendar? I used, I bought some double-sided Christmas cardstock, and I got it on joann's.com, but I can't remember the brand of it. And then I used basil for the wrappers, and I got that at Joann's in the store. So you want a pretty heavy cardstock because you want the drawers to be sturdy, because there's like little drawers and they have like a little wrapper that goes around them. So yeah, you need fairly sturdy cardstock. Oh, well, I can't see it. Whoever just said the only name you need to see is mine, I can't see it on StreamYard. So make sure you go click and tell StreamYard or Facebook it's okay for me to see it, okay? So all of it, because what you come up with, if you haven't said it's okay, you come up as Facebook user. And I can't see anybody's name. So that's why I use my tablet over here to pick the name for the gift, because I can't see all of your names on here to do it, okay, on my StreamYard screen. Okay, so a second here. I'm going to make sure that all of these have come through because you guys have been very, very good about commenting. Okay. All right. You've been very good about commenting. I'm going to try to see how I did lose a few. I feel bad because I lost a few at the very beginning because my tablet decided to have a hissy fit. All right. So I'm gonna mix up the names, and the prize tonight will be the Lifesavers bag. Okay, the little this is one of the candy wrapper bags. And if you win and you're not from locally here, make sure that you personal message me through Messenger your name and address so that I can mail you your little gift, okay? All right, so let's see who's going to win tonight. And I do this every week, so some of you are new, so I do this every week. So, all right, so I'm going to put my name down, my finger down, and it says Charlene Brokaw. Charlene Brokaw. Is Charlene still here? Charlene Brokaw. So I'm going to write that down so I won't forget. Just a second. Let me write the name down. Somewhere here I had a piece of paper, but you know. Charlene Brokaw is the winner. I have to make sure I get name spelled right. Okay. Okay. Is Charlene still here? Hopefully Charlene's still here. I don't know if I can see her on here or if I have to see her on Facebook. But Charlene, if you are here, please remember to personal message me your address and your name and address, and then I will mail you your gift, okay? And I'll send it to you probably in the U.S. mail. So, okay. So next week we're going to have a scan and cut class, and we'll be in the sewing room. Thank goodness, then I can see better in there. And we will be in there next week for the Advent calendar. And then the following week, the last week, there was 5 Wednesdays in October. So we will have class next week on the 25th. Actually, no, there was only 4, but the last one was, let's see, was the 1st of November. So we're going to have the 1st of November off, okay? And then we're going to start back up on the 8th of November. So we're going to have one where the 1st of November we'll have the Wednesday off. So we're going to have class next week, and then we'll have a break. So hopefully by then I'll have my house put back together and I'll be able to sew in my sewing room again. I'm really looking forward to that because it's very dark in here. So, okay. So next week, be ready for some scan and cut fun, and we'll be working on our Advent calendar, and then we'll have a week's break, and we'll be working on the December Kimberbell Cutie. So if anybody has any questions or anything, you can personal message me through Facebook. You can email me at janshieldsewing@gmail.com, or just make comments on the lives and I'll try to answer. Or if you're listening on YouTube, comment under the YouTube video. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you next week for some scan and cut fun. Thank you everybody. Good night.